In this video, I'm going to show you how I made a unique round coffee table with faux wood paint using Ikea salad bowls. There are many tips and tricks I want to share, not just gluing them all together. So stay tuned.
Hi guys, it's Maki. I'm an interior designer and a musician. Let's just dive into the materials and tools that I used for this project. The links to the products are in the description.
Ikea salad bowls. I used the largest one. Paint remover, mineral spirit, router. I've seen so many DIYers use a jigsaw to cut a round shape, but if you look at their result very closely, they are not really perfectly round, unfortunately. And sanding does not really make a perfect round either. A router is a proper tool to cut a circle shape. This compact router is only about $70 and even professional woodworkers recommend this one, and I'm very happy that I purchased this. Electric sander, veneer edge banding, wood filler, wood dowels, wood glue, construction adhesive, paint primer, paint for base color. I used Bear's basketry and Sonoran Desert, decorative glaze, masking tape, paintbrush and cleaning brush, wood paint tools, and MDF board, 1-inch thickness. MDF stands for medium density fiberboard. It's reasonable and easy to cut, but you can use any plywood you have. I chose 1-inch thickness because if it was too thin, it wouldn't look great. But if it was too thick, it would be a bit hard to work on. I needed one for tabletop, one for legs. I was gonna cut it into a half circle and cut it in half. Then use 2 salad bowls to make a sphere. Here is the dimensions.
I got MDF board at a lumber store called Anderson Plywood in Los Angeles. I strongly recommend getting lumbers at a lumber store rather than DIY stores.
Of course, it depends on the DIY store in your local area. But I heard most of the lumbers that they have at somewhere like Home Depot are construction grade, not really for furniture.
I have great experiences every time I go to Anderson Plywood. The quality of their lumbers is amazing. They give me great advice and suggestions every time I go there. They cut lumbers to specific sizes really clean.
I was gonna get 1 sheet of plywood and cut it into smaller pieces, but they had leftover MDF board with very reasonable price, and I got 2 pieces only for $15.
So I highly recommend this store if you live in Los Angeles area, but if not, please find a good lumber store in your local area. The reason why I didn't use real wood for the tabletop and the legs is because I didn't know what wood the salad bowl was made of. If I use different types of wood for the tabletop and the legs and salad bowl, and if I stain, the color might look different. So I decided to use MDF board and make faux wood paint so the salad bowls and other parts would look exactly the same. Now let's move on to the creating part.
I started off by removing the paint of the salad bowls. The paint remover I used can remove both top coat and stain color. I used this since it was the only one that I had, but you can use milder remover or just sand it off as you just need to remove the top coat. I applied generous amount, waited for 15 minutes, and scrubbed it off with the rough surface of dish sponge soaked with mineral spirit. After I let it dry for a day, I sanded the surface with an electric sander. To cut the tabletop, I first measured the center of the square. This doesn't have to be accurate as the size of the square is a bit bigger than the diameter of the tabletop.
Now I would like to show you the quick tutorial on how to use the router I have. This is actually a clip from the video that I uploaded before.
First, take off the cover from the body by opening the lever. The router comes with 4 different bits. Use the straight bit to cut a circle shape. Put the bit into the hole, pushing the button on the side. Tighten the screw first with fingers, then with the wrench. If you don't push this button, both the bit and the screw keep spinning and it won't be tightened. Then put the cover on the body again. There's this jagged line on the body and there's this little gear on the cover. Align them together so that the cover will slide in. This cover can actually set up the depth of the bit. Adjust the depth and close the cover. You need to attach this tool to the body when you cut a circle shape. You just simply loosen the screw on the side of the body. Align the tool and the bottom of the body, then tighten the screw. Unfortunately, this tool to cut a circle shape can cut up to 9-inch radius. I needed to cut bigger than that, so I screwed a leftover lumber I had to the tool to extend it. I measured the length from the bit to the place where I was drilling a hole. I was going to use this hole to screw the tool to the MDF board, and this length will be the radius of the coffee table. I screwed the tool with the router to the MDF board and started cutting. I set the minimum depth of the bit and went as slow as I could. When I completed one pass, I set the depth of the bit deeper and started cutting again. The length of the bit is shorter than the thickness of the board, so after I went 2 passes, I turned it over and cut it from the other side. To cut the legs, I first drew a line few inches away from the edge. I actually made a mistake, so I had to draw the second line. I measured the center of the line, screwed the tool with the router to the board, then started cutting. After I made a half circle, I cut it in half with a circular saw. I realized I made little scratches on the board while cutting because of the screw of the tool I made. There was of course a little hole on the center, and also there were a little bit of jagged parts on the side. So to fill these parts, I applied wood filler. After I let it dry for a couple of hours, I sanded it to make the surface smooth. I guess this was unnecessary, but to achieve smoother surface, I used veneer edge banding on the side of the tabletop and the legs. They only sold veneer edge banding with 3/4 inch or 2-inch thickness at the store. I cut it in half as I needed only 1 inch, so I could use the leftover for other projects. It's very easy to use, you just need to iron it. I cut the excess part on the back side with a craft knife. There were tiny gaps between the edge banding and the MDF board. It's almost invisible, but I wanted to make it as clean as possible, so I applied wood filler there. Then I sanded it after a few hours. To attach the legs and the salad bowls to the tabletop, I was trying to find a way to divide a circle into thirds correctly. Then I found this website, how to divide a pizza into thirds. I'm not really sure if this is a practical way to divide a pizza into thirds, but yes, it works for a normal circle. First, you draw a line of the diameter, which is the line from A to B. Then you divide the radius in half and draw a line from C to D. Then connect the C to the center and also D to the center. I used this method on the back side of the tabletop, and it looked great. To connect the salad bowls to the tabletop, I applied the construction adhesive. Then I screwed one of the salad bowls to the back side of the tabletop first. After that, I glued another salad bowl with construction adhesive. Then I put a can of glaze as a weight on the top. To connect other legs to the tabletop, I used wood dowels. I first drilled holes using the drill bit that has the same diameter of the dowel. To drill half length of the dowel, I marked it with tape on the drill bit. I put wood glue and dowels in the holes and hit them with a hammer. To make sure where exactly the dowels need to be on the tabletop, I painted the tips of dowels with acrylic paint, then stamped them on the tabletop. I drilled the holes on the stamps, applied the construction adhesive, then connect the leg and the tabletop together. I covered the leg with the towel and hit the leg with a hammer. I applied the wood filler on the connected part of the salad bowls, then sanded the part after a few hours.
Now let's move on to the fun part, painting.
I first worked on the legs and the salad bowls. I painted them with the primer. I recommend moving the brush in the direction of the wood grains you want to have. After I let it dry for a couple of hours, I painted with the basic color I chose, which I mixed Bear's Basketry and Sunderland Desert in a 1:1 ratio. After I let it dry for a day, I painted it with the decorative glaze to make wood grains. I used different types of brush, which are paintbrush, cleaning brush, and fluffy paintbrush. I also used these wood paint tools. There are so many wood paint tools on Amazon, but I chose this one because there are different tools that can make different patterns in one package.
Before I show you how to use them, I want you to take a close look at the real wood grains.
This is the accent table that I made with red oak a while ago. It depends on how they cut the wood, but as you can see, there are striped parts and also, I don't know if there's a name for it, but there are patterns look like typhoon eye. To make this typhoon eye pattern, you use this type of wood paint tool and move it a little bit wavy as you slide it. I've watched many faux wood paint videos and I've seen so many people were using this one wave motion only and making this typhoon eyes all over, and to be very honest with you, it looked a little too much for me. I think it would be more natural and it would look sleeker if you mix typhoon eye and stripe patterns just like this oak wood.
So here's what I did.
First, I applied it with a paintbrush. Then scrubbed it with the cleaning brush. I also used fluffy brush to wipe the excess glaze as I wanted to make the color a little lighter. Each time I used cleaning brush and the fluffy brush, I wiped the brushes with a paper towel. For the tabletop, I used this big tool. I started from the edge. I simply slid it straight without making wave motion. The stripe doesn't have to be completely straight. In fact, it's sometimes a bit diagonal or a bit wavy. Then I used thick brush and tapped the painted surface. If you look at the picture of the real wood grains again, you can see that each line and pattern look a little bit smudged and dotted. This tapping motion can create that effect. But please don't tap right after you painted decorative glaze. You can wait a minute or two and it's already started getting a bit dried. That's when you start tapping so that it doesn't get smudged too much. There were some parts where the line broke, so I applied line using the tip of the brush handle. The color in the area I used the wood grain tool was a little bit too light, so I applied a thin coat of the glaze to fill that area. I applied a little amount of glaze and spread it with a fluffy brush. For the salad bowls, I used the jagged edge of the small tool. I used this big tool and small tool for the legs. If you don't like the pattern you made, you can redo it, but you have to do it quick, as the glaze gets dried fast. On the side of the tabletop and the legs, I used this big tool.
Before you see the result, if you like this video so far, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And let me know what you think in the comments section. And thank you so much for the people who already did. I really appreciate your one click, and I'm so happy all the people who left comments on my videos are so sweet and kind. I really enjoy reading each of them. I was kind of in rush wrapping up the video, so I didn't have time to apply top coat, but I will apply polyurethane top coat very soon. Thank you so much for waiting. Here is the result.
I am so amazed how it turned out. Round coffee tables with sphere legs have been very popular, but I think mixing different shaped legs make the design very unique and original. Can you believe this is faux paint? I am so satisfied with the paint I made as well.
Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Love you all. Bye.